All right, so we're going to do something fun today. We're going to put together some Gutenberg components for WordPress. I'm starting to build out a custom WordPress theme for a client, and one of the things they want is they want it to be super customizable, but they also want it to be flexible. And so I think the perfect thing to do is to sort of jump into Gutenberg. As it's going to be the new norm. So what we're going to do is we're going to build out a hero section component. So just sort of what you see at the top of a lot of web pages, where you've got an image with some text overlaid on the image. And so what we'll do is we'll build that out and then we'll make it into a Gutenberg component. So to do that, just to kind of show you what the Gutenberg component is, when you add a block, which is what they're called, I'm calling them components, Gutenberg calls them blocks. You can add custom blocks, and these can be super custom, completely how you want them to appear. There's a lot of out-of-the-box ones as well, but what we'll do is we'll create a block that will appear in the Gutenberg block editor, and then you'll be able to use it and sort of move it wherever you want on the page. So we'll do this for the hero, and hopefully this will be helpful moving forward. So creating a Gutenberg block really requires three major things. The first thing we have to do is to create the block itself. So what I've done, I'll just take you into my my theme folder, is I created a folder called partials inside of my WP content and inside of my theme folder. And so inside of that, I created a PHP file called Gutenberg-hero.php. And I'll provide you with the PHP files and all the code you need to create this. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just create the actual the block itself. We're going to use advanced custom fields, which I need to actually install still. So I'm going to pause the video here and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I've installed advanced custom fields. I have the pro version. I highly recommend it. It's just a way that allows you to create fields in the WordPress database much easier. And so what we have here is we've got sort of just a shell of a PHP file, and so what we'll do is we'll build out the hero here. So our hero is going to have a background image. So what we'll do is we'll put a background image here, and we'll instead of calling a static image, we'll call a variable that will create in advanced custom fields here in a second. So we'll call this bg underscore image, or we'll just call this bg. Okay, so we'll call this bg, and then we will call that on the background image of hero. And so we'll create our first variable here. We'll set all our variables up here at the very top. And so our first variable will be bg, and then we'll create a field called background, or we'll call this hero image. Inside of our hero, we're going to have a heading. So we'll put like our services, for example, or I'm sorry, we'll actually create a field called heading. So I'm just going to copy this, and we'll go heading, get field, hero, heading. So then we'll go PHP echo heading. And so we'll call that variable that we'll create in advanced custom fields here in a second. And then our hero will also have a bit of like a tagline or some kind of text. So we'll just call it tagline. And then we'll call this variable hero tagline. So we'll just copy this PHP here, and we'll grab the tagline. Okay, so we're just going to make it real basic for now. We'll style it up later, but our hero is really just going to have a background image, a heading, and some paragraph text. What I do know is I've got Bootstrap 4 set up, and so I'm going to use some classes to sort of center things up. So what we'll do is we'll put display flex on this div, and then we'll make it a flex column, and then we'll do, I believe we want justify content center. So that'll sort of center the text vertically inside of the hero. So I'm going to save this, and now we've created the code for our block. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create these variables in WordPress in advanced custom fields. Let me just clean this up a little bit. And so I'm going to go into, I'm going to refresh, and I'm going to go into my plugins folder, and I'm going to activate Advanced Custom Fields Pro. And now we've got the Custom Fields tab. We're going to create a new custom field group. So I'm just going to call this Gutenberg Hero section. And in my Gutenberg Hero section, I'm going to create 3 variables. What did we call them? The hero image. We'll make this an image, and since it's a background image, we'll use the URL because we're just pulling the URL into the actual HTML file. So we'll do the image URL, and we'll view it large for now. We'll add another field, and we'll call it hero heading. And we'll format all of this later. We'll leave that as text since that's wrapped in an H1. And we'll add a third field called hero tagline. So we're just creating these fields in the database. I'm going to call this text area. So you have a few more lines of text. And we're not going to mess with any of the rules yet. We'll come back to that here in a second. Okay, so that's step 2 of creating our Gutenberg block. The most important step, which I did save to the last part of this video, is to actually create the block itself on the WordPress backend, so that it'll appear when you go into your page builder. It'll appear with the rest of the blocks. So right now we haven't actually created that yet. So to create that, we're going to go into our functions.php file. So we'll go to WP content, back to this, and we're going to open our functions.php file. So I'm using the underscores theme, and I am going to set up a function here at the very top where I'm going to call it, I'm just going to comment and call it register the Gutenberg blocks here, Gutenberg hero block here. So I've got a little comment, and I'm going to grab this snippet of code, and I'll walk you through it here in a second, and I'll make this available on my GitHub, and I'll link to that at the bottom of the video so that you have it. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to create a function where we're going to register some blocks. And we can register a variety of blocks here. And I grabbed this code from, let me just give you from BillErickson.net. He's got a great blog published on February 6th, Building Gutenberg Block ACF, and so it's really helpful. So what we're going to do is, he built a team member block. I'm going to build a hero block. So I'm going to change the name. I'm going to change the title to hero. And then we'll call this hero block. And then I created a folder called partials instead of Gutenberg. A folder called partials, and then our PHP file is called hero-gutenberg. So this links to that PHP file we just created right here. Oops, Gutenberg-hero. So Gutenberg-hero. Category. So we can choose what category to put the block in. So there's formatting, layout, widgets, embeds. Is it a layout element? No, not really. Is it a formatting element? Not really. I wonder if you can actually choose common blocks. I haven't tried that yet. So let me look this up real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so I found some documentation where you can actually register your own categories. So I haven't tried this, so we'll test it out together. So I'll do register custom Gutenberg categories here at the top, and I will provide you with all of this code. But we're going to, there's the Mario block category. That's the name of their function. We're going to call this I'm just going to call this, custom blocks. Or this is a slug, so we'll do custom block, and then we'll go. The title will be custom blocks and custom blocks. Okay, so that should add a category called custom blocks. Hopefully this works. We'll try it. So we'll put this hero block in the custom blocks category, and then we got to choose an icon, and you can choose icons from the WordPress dash icon. So to do that, let's see. We probably want something with an image on it. So let's see if we can find a good icon with an image. Okay, so let's try this one. So dash icons dash ID. So I'm going to copy that, and I'll see if that works. So we'll add our icon. Preview mode versus edit mode. The preview mode will act more like a WYSIWYG, like a page builder essentially, and that's not really what I'm after with this. So I'm going to change this to edit mode. You can change it to preview mode, but this is just the default. And then our keywords, I'm going to go hero, headings or header, and I'll just use 2 keywords. Okay, so this should do 2 things. It should create a custom category, and it should register a custom block type. So let's save this in our functions.php file, and let's go back to our backend and refresh, and let's see what happens. Okay, so we're gonna see if we can't find our custom blocks, which I don't see. So that didn't work. Let's see if hero is showing up. Nope, hero's not showing up either. So let's make sure we did everything correctly. We need to, oh, you know what? I didn't do this yet. So one thing we have to do is to connect these advanced custom fields to the block. You know, I had installed the wrong version of advanced custom fields. So I'd installed the latest stable, which was 5.7.13. Apparently doesn't support blocks. So you got to download 5.8 or higher. So I'm on 5.8.0 beta 4.1. So all that to say, we can now make sure that this Gutenberg hero section is, these fields get mapped onto the hero block. Okay, so now we've created the hero block. We're going to update, and now we should be theoretically good to go. And let's just see if the block is there. Yay, my custom block category worked and my hero worked. The only thing that's not working is for some reason the icon's not showing up. I'll investigate that later. But right now, if we click the hero block, we can add our image, our heading, and our tagline, and all those fields exist. So I will quickly find a hero image, and well, first of all, let's style up the block first of all. So let's do that. We'll go into styles.css, and we will go and style up the block. So we'll create a section called hero. I'm going to call this Gutenberg hero block styles. And we've got a class called hero. Let me pull up the Gutenberg hero again, just so we have it on hand. So we have a class called hero, and we're going to set a min height on hero of 600 pixels for right now. And then we will, we probably want to set the background size to cover so that's responsive, and the position of the image to center. So vertically and horizontally centered if the image is cropped. Okay, so now we've got that set. We probably want to, we'll mess with some other styles later. We just kind of want to test this and make sure it works. So let me download an image. Let's use this beautiful ocean. And let's download that. And let's add that to our hero block. So it's going to be a way big file size, but we don't have time. I don't want to waste our time doing that. So we've got our hero image, our heading, let's just say our services, and then our tagline. Let's grab some lorem ipsum text, and we'll grab just a few sentences for our tagline. Grab that there, and let's publish this guy. And then let's view our page. So nothing else on the page has been set up in WordPress, so it really should just be the image with some text overlaid on it. Excellent. So there's our image with some text overlaid on it. So what we'll do is, and Our flex box is working, right? So that sort of vertically centered our element. What we'll do is, let's quickly style our H1 and paragraph tags. So we'll go hero H1 and we'll go hero paragraph. And we probably want this to be quite large, so we'll go 3 rems. And I need to set my typography up still, but we'll just set it up right here, typography, and we'll set our font size to 16 pixels. So 3 rems in our paragraph tag. We probably want half that, maybe 1.5 rem, and then we want, it looks like, the color to be white for now, just so it'll show up. And we'll refresh and see what that looks like. Excellent. So we have some text over our hero image, and just because it bothers me, I am going to create a div around I'm going to create a div around my text here called hero text, and I am going to just set the width up so that it doesn't span across the entire hero image. So we'll do width, I don't know, 40%. And then we'll do padding left 1 rem. So then we'll refresh the page, see how that looks. Excellent. Let's move it over a little more. So we'll do padding left 2 rem. And I think I want it a little wider as well. So we'll do that, see how that looks. All right, excellent. So here's our hero section. The point was that we set it up, all that styling was just because I'm a little bit control freak. But we've set up our block and it's working, right? So we could add this block to any page. So one thing you might want to do, or your client might want, is the ability to set the height on the block, right? So there's several ways we can do that, but that'll be the last thing I do, and then we'll be done. So what I can do is I can create a variable called height, and we'll grab the field, and we'll grab a field called hero height underscore height, and we'll instead of setting it in our CSS, we can call the variable in our HTML, right? So we can go in our style tag, min height, and then we can grab our PHP variable. Okay, and so we'll set our min height to a variable. So now this should break when we refresh because there's no height set on it. Yeah, so it's just defaulting to the height of the elements inside of it. So what we'll do is, in our custom field, we will add a variable called hero height, and we can do a few things. We can do like small, medium, large. We can do actual pixels. We can do viewport height, VH. There's a lot of different things we can do. For now, I'll just set this as a number variable, and I will say in the instructions, set height in pixels. I'll probably change this to small, medium, large at some point, and then our default will be 600. And so let me close this field and we probably want to set the height first. So we'll update. And then the other thing we'll do while that's updating is we probably want to add the height, which is a number, plus the value or the measurement unit, which is pixels. So we'll set our min height here in the HTML. So if we go back to our block, we can even set our min height is 600, but if we wanted it taller, for example, we could change this to 800, and we can dynamically set now the height on every element. And this, of course, is not working, so let's find out why. Let's make sure we've got our background image, we've got our height. It looks good to me. Let's make sure we set up our fields correctly. Hero underscore height, so that worked. Okay, so what is the problem? Oh, I forgot to put echo. Oh man, a lot of problems today. Okay, that should work now. So now we should be able to dynamically set our height. This should dynamically set to 800. Excellent. Or if we wanted a smaller banner, we could test it out and make sure. Let's set it at 400, for example. And we could test it out. And it's shorter. Excellent. So that looks awesome. And so we've created our first Gutenberg hero block. And the cool thing about Gutenberg hero blocks is now we can add them to any page. We can move them up and down, and the location of the block can change from any page. So we've got quite a bit of flexibility in terms of what we can do with the block. All right, so that's it for now. I will post all of the code you need, just as a quick rundown and a recap. So you'll create the actual block itself. That's a PHP file. You'll add the block to the WordPress theme itself, and you'll register that in the functions.php file. And then you'll create your fields in advanced custom fields. Remember that you need to be 5.8 or higher. So that's it for now. I'll continue adding more theming tips and videos on how to integrate Gutenberg as we continue. Until next time, we'll see you later.